Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just holding it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up.
It's often been said that it's lonely at the top, yet Vince McMahon has found time to make friends with some of his wrestlers. However, there are also wrestlers who are on Vince's hit list. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 5 wrestlers Vince McMahon is friends with and 7 he hates. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos.
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with some of these videos, we always look at friends first. And through the years, Vince McMahon has become close with some of his wrestlers, usually top performers, but like any friendship that involves business, things haven't always gone well when business conflicts arose. Nonetheless, the following superstars have proven friends with Vince through the good times and the bad. Number 1, The Undertaker.
I've been handling it for, like you say, 11 years. You've been the main event for 11 years, and I have shown my gratitude.
There's no doubt that The Undertaker is Vince's most loyal friend in terms of longevity. Through the years, Taker and Vince have formed a close friendship, and while they've disagreed on things, they remain close. The Phenom explained this to Stone Cold Steve Austin during the premiere episode of the Broken Skull Sessions. If we butt heads or we don't agree, which is gonna happen, it's a creative business. We're not gonna always see eye to eye. You and I may not have the same vision on a finish, but we'll get there. Arguably, the biggest reason for Taker's longevity is that the WWF gave him a tremendous opportunity after WCW gave up on him, with Booker Ole Anderson telling him he'd never draw a dime. The Undertaker told Austin, "No telling where I would have been if he hadn't given me that chance. I just never forgot that." The Undertaker's loyalty can be seen with his decision to stay with the WWE, with rumors circulating he signed a lifetime contract to stick around with the company. You may recall The Undertaker was originally scheduled to appear at Starrcast 3 and was scheduled to embark on an extremely lucrative tour of personal appearances at non-WWE events, a move that led to some tension between Taker and WWE. Whether this was a negotiating ploy, it worked as The Undertaker remains in WWE. Something else that should signify their relationship is the time Vince McMahon even missed the end of WrestleMania 30, where he chose to leave the show to accompany The Undertaker to hospital. PW Insider reported that it was left to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon to run the show, despite them also being involved on screen. Now, for Vince to leave the biggest show of the year to tend to his friend, it demonstrates a close bond between the two. Number 2, RTruth.
R is your real first name, isn't it? Correct. I always thought that was kind of a silly first name, R.
Ron Killings is known as the man who makes Vince McMahon laugh, which shouldn't be difficult as Truth makes most of the WWE Universe laugh with his over-the-top antics.
Talk about what the Truth is gonna do in Money in the Bank this Sunday. You're not even in the match.
Obviously, McMahon isn't paying Truth to be his court jester, and there's a reason Ron still wrestles. According to Wrestling News CEO's Paul Davis, a source told him, "Vince loves Ron. Everyone loves Ron, but Vince really loves the guy because he is up for everything. Sometimes Vince can tell when someone is not into what they're doing because it's silly or whatever. You never see that with Ron, and Vince loves that. I think Ron will have a job here for life if he wants it. Remember little Jimmy? Vince loved that stuff. He would laugh so hard at that stuff." This is a classic case of business and friendship mixing well. RTruth is an easygoing performer, and his good nature is probably a refreshing change of pace for all the stress McMahon endures from wrestlers and the outside world alike.
Truth! You can tell?
Number 3, Roman Reigns.
And above and beyond everything, you must obey my commands at all times.
There's no doubt that Vince McMahon sees a lot in Roman Reigns as he pushed the big dog hard for the last 5 years as a main eventer, despite mixed feelings from the fans. While McMahon was friends with Reigns, their bond grew much deeper after Reigns' diagnosis with leukemia. During an interview with Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso, Reigns revealed some advice the WWE Kingpin gave him when he learned he had to face leukemia again. Vince said to me, "Be present." He said, "Be there with your family and friends and absorb everything you can. Maximize all that you can." Now that Reigns is back in action, his business relationship with McMahon seems stronger than ever, and his friendship likely is as well.
Be able to walk over to the man who's changed your life, who's helped you provide for your family.
Number 4,
John Cena.
Vince McMahon.
Damn.
John Cena has been in the WWE since 2000, debuting on the main roster in 2002 and quickly becoming a main eventer. Through the years, Cena has remained loyal to the WWE and has been friends with McMahon. As far back as 2008, McMahon and Cena were seen at an AC/DC concert, a sign that they were friends in and out of the workplace. In January of 2020, Cena talked to Jimmy Kimmel about his relationship with his boss. "He is so much more than that to me. He is a friend, a father figure, a mentor, a trusting resource. He's filled with wisdom, but above all else, yes, I still think of him as my boss. He's also had a tremendous effect on my life. I mean, that's a couch session for you and I'm probably going to have to pay you a therapist fee for that, but he's really had a tremendous impact on my life." John Cena's incredible success in wrestling and his burgeoning Hollywood career all began with the WWE, and it's obvious Cena credits McMahon's guidance for helping him succeed. And number 5, Brock Lesnar.
Does Brock have special privileges? He does. But I think he's earned most of those privileges.
Vince McMahon sees Brock Lesnar as a huge draw and a star attraction, but not only do they do business together, they are friends as well. It's obvious McMahon trusts Lesnar as he's allowed to pick his opponents and utilize more creative control than thought imaginable in a business where Vince still calls the shots. While there's less evidence of Lesnar's friendship with McMahon than some of the grapplers on our list, Lesnar's lucrative contract and many perks make it clear he's close to McMahon. But those were his friends in the business. What about the people he can't stand or can't stand him? Business is business, but in these instances, Vince McMahon has taken his disdain for performers onto a personal level.
You're fired! Whoa!
Number 1, CM Punk.
I apologize, you
CM Punk's tense relationship with the WWE only grew worse when Vince McMahon FedExed him news of his termination on Punk and AJ Lee's wedding day. While Vince would claim it was an accident, it's hard to believe him. When WWE's doctors sued Punk and Colt Cabana for defamation, some saw this as McMahon's proxy means of getting back at Punk. Would McMahon and Punk do business together if they both thought it was worth their time and money? Well, of course, but that likely wouldn't change McMahon's feelings for him.
I'm gonna teach you something about respect.
Number 2, Jimmy Jacobs.
Comes out, and Vince goes, "Oh God, Adam, you should put up your shield."
Veteran grappler Jimmy Jacobs, best known for his run in Ring of Honor, but who also worked in promotions such as Evolve, Combat Zone Wrestling, and IWA South, went to work for the WWE in 2015 as a writer. Jacobs apparently got on the wrong side of Vince McMahon because he was a popular writer amongst the wrestlers and he didn't always see eye to eye with McMahon. Of course, the biggest reason for McMahon blowing a gasket was because Jacobs posted an Instagram photo of himself with members of the Bullet Club during the group's so-called invasion of Raw back in 2017.
Come on out! Your friends are here! We're here to rescue you!
Vince might be angry with Jacobs, but Jimmy has no bad feelings, telling Booker T back in 2019, "There are zero bitter feelings. I had a fun 2.5 years there. I have zero bitterness of why they fired me. This past 6 weeks has been the time of my life. If Vince wanted to keep me around, he would have kept me around. I don't know how that got in front of him, but he had made the decision that I needed to go. I was cool with that because I felt I needed to go." Knowing Vince McMahon, he may have forgotten who Jacobs is by this point.
You're always reminded you're one weird interaction away with Vince from being fired.
Number 3, Ryback.
But I wonder if you realize what people are saying about you.
One person Vince likely has forgotten is Ryback, a wrestler who left the WWE in 2016 and has been vocal in his criticism of the promotion ever since. With Ryback hosting his Conversations with the Big Guy podcast, he has a forum for lambasting just about everything going on in the WWE. Ryback didn't leave the company on the best terms, getting into a contract dispute and complaining about unequal pay and a lack of creative direction before the WWE finally released him.
And I'm done being walked around, I'm done living in fear. And that was the day I just walked, I went to Toronto, I go, take me off this TV show, I'm done. I never saw Vince, I didn't want to see him. I'd had too many conversations with him where he lied to me.
Anyone who doubts Vince's disdain for Ryback needs to look no further than the WWE's last-minute challenge to Ryback's attempt to trademark his name, a challenge that could cost Ryback a 6-figure sum to fight. Don't cross the boss, indeed. Number 4, Cody Rhodes.
Because for over 2 decades, the McMahons have hated the Rhodes.
How dare Cody Rhodes leave the WWE because he grew tired playing Stardust, yet that was the only character the WWE wanted him to play. Cody's audacity was even greater when he dared to succeed on the indie circuit, reinventing himself or perhaps just portraying himself rather than a stale WWE character. It's been said the best revenge is massive success, so imagine Vince's rage at seeing Cody spurn an offer to return to the WWE and go to work for All Elite Wrestling, also serving as one of its executive vice presidents. Number 5 and 6, The Young Bucks. Another act that turned Vince down are the Young Bucks, whose tag team excellence led the WWE to make them a lucrative offer when they became free agents. Like Cody, the Bucks decided to pass on the WWE and they too joined AEW, a move that was the proverbial nail in the coffin. Prior to Nick and Matt Jackson signing with the WWE, the team staged an invasion of Raw, much like D-Generation X did to WCW back in the late 90s.
We want our friends back! We are the Bullet Club, and we are the best wrestling faction in the whole world!
This angered Vince, and he sent a cease and desist letter to the Bucks, warning them not to use the Too Sweet sign, with the WWE claiming the sign was the company's intellectual property. The Bucks promptly responded by releasing a cease and desist t-shirt and changing the Too Sweet hand symbol to One Sweet. And number 7, Nails.
Mr. Nails, I wonder if you'd care to comment. There has been a great deal of speculation.
Unlike some of the wrestlers on our list, there's no denying that Vince McMahon and this wrestler can't stand each other. In 1992, Kevin Charles entered the WWF as Nails, a former prison inmate seeking revenge on the Big Boss Man for brutalizing him during his incarceration. According to Bret Hart's memoir, Nails' aggravation with the WWF grew until the big man confronted Vince in his office, allegedly knocking McMahon out of his seat and choking him as he screamed about the WWF lying to him.
Yeah, enough of the bullshit and the lies and whatever it was. It was, like I say, it was very high, shrieking, like almost like an hysterical woman.
Nails left the building and then accused McMahon of making a sexual advance on him, with some seeing this as a preemptive move to avoid possible prosecution for assault. Whatever the reason, the two became bitter enemies, but Nails' thirst for revenge seems to have backfired. Nails was one of the US government's witnesses during its criminal prosecution of Vince McMahon for steroid distribution, and Nails was perhaps a bit over-eager to testify. He told a courtroom during Vince McMahon's steroid trial that "I hate Vince McMahon's guts," a remark so strong that some believed it helped convince the jury that Wachol's comments were motivated from spite rather than justice, helping with McMahon's ultimate acquittal. But there you have it, guys, 5 wrestlers Vince McMahon is friends with, and 7 he hates. What do you guys think of Vinnie Mac's list of friends and foes? To be fair, there could be a part 2 in this. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.